Welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena, where we have concluded our second-to-last match, where G2 and SpaceSoldiers faced off on Cash in one where there was a very brutal affair, almost a fast one, Chad. You know how almost fast it was?
How fast?
It was almost as fast as an Intel processor. That's right. Game, record, and stream without compromise using an Intel processor. It's got amazing mobile performance. It's got uncompromising gaming and VR capabilities, next level content creation, and, well, moreover, that Thunderbolt technology. My goodness, Chad.
Lock and loaded.
Lock and loaded. And wheeling and dealing, my God, I couldn't even say it. It's just so exciting technology. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, everyone loves technology, but I think that game was fast and furious in a lot of ways. Zantara is putting up one of those massive frag leads early. You just saw that utter domination.
Yeah.
It doesn't really leave us with a lot to say, and this is where I try and break things down from a stat perspective.
Well, we could go stats, and I think we'll just start from the very tippity top here, because we're only halfway up.
Yeah, let's do it.
And at about halftime of that matchup, there was literally only one round on the board there for G2. It was a 14-1 half.
Yeah, and you would think in that case, okay, so maybe, they're just getting dominated. Heaps of opening kills are going in the favor of these guys. Maybe an AWPer is on point. Maybe they're, really just dominating every single stat line you can think of. But if you actually take a deeper look, in this game, the first kills was 11 to G2 and only 12 for SpaceSoldiers.
Right. In
such a commanding lead. And the 1vx situations, both teams won a 1vx situation, right? So there wasn't like clutches turning the tide. It wasn't anything like that. It was literally just the SpaceSoldiers absolutely mauling this G2 roster. Just whatever they wanted to do, they were able to do. It's hard to look at particulars and say, oh, was a turning point, because there wasn't one.
Yeah.
A little bit of resistance was put up on the CT half while they were on the CT side, but that's more of an economy issue for SpaceSoldiers and nothing that G2 were doing too fantastically well. It's a rough spot to be.
Well, let's put this into perspective as well, because it looks like only one round was won by that of a bomb plant and explosion, which that means in that 14-1 rout in the first half, Zontares putting on an absolute tear on these guys, hurting feelings, breaking hearts, and giving them that firepower, Chad. I don't know where that one was going to go otherwise, but...
Well, we could do some fun things with the names, like, because his actual name is Can. His name is Zantares. It could be like
Zantares. That's good, man.
Tears them apart as something fun like that. We could do with his name.
Tear them apart.
Yeah. The casters usually do the funny, witty things. We're just given like stats and stuff. But it's basically just a highlight reel right here from the SpaceSoldiers, because when you're winning a game in such commanding fashion, it's only a matter of time until you're going to win. The casters maybe were getting a little bit jittery there because they made some dumb bets about eating a croc, but that game was never in doubt. I don't think a team would ever be able to come back from such an absolute shellacking on that first half.
A straight smashing to the point. I mean, we got Smiths picking up the op. They've got G2 in the corners against the ropes throughout the duration of the first half. And perhaps every round thereafter going into the second half was fighting for a lifeline, something that'll stick against these SpaceSoldiers.
You're a man who likes silver linings, Trace.
I tend to ask for those, yeah.
Yeah, I can give you one. The fact is that their T side for G2, it looked like there was a little bit of cohesion. They looked like they knew what they were doing. Going into this next matchup at Inferno, they'll get to start on that T side. So we will get to see how they apply themselves moving into map number 2. The fact that they're able to warm up a little bit more, get more than 10 kills, which I don't think any of the players from G2 had in that first half. That's a good sign, and Inferno is their map in this home and away type system. Yeah. So hopefully they've got something better to show, because Kenny, as a T-sided AWPer, he's one that gets very aggressive, especially if once we flick over to the CT side, it changes even more so. He'll stay continuously picking and prodding and re-picking corners with that big green, and that's a factor which is going to be hard for SpaceSoldiers to stop.
And for Kenny S to have the combat op and the approach with it and pretty much laying down the law on these guys, that's a guy you don't want to see get in a rhythm, because he can indeed change the tide of matches.
And you don't want to get on the bad side of Kenny S either. He's been known to give death stares.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
Yeah.
Not at me, of course, looking at other people, so I didn't really get the full effect, but nonetheless, it's something like this.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how a stare goes.
Okay,
so I just kind of mimicked.
You nailed it.
As best I could. No. Either way, Chad, yes, going into Inferno, it's kind of hard to pull anything out of the bag of tricks here for G2.
Yeah.
But other than Kenny S, what should they be highlighting on?
Well, look, we always talk about the fact that Existence is bringing strategy and structure back to this team. His mid-rounds have been, at least in my opinion, relatively lackluster or weak. It seems indecisive. Maybe too many chefs, maybe too many cooks in the kitchen making calls mid-round. But I want to see them set the pace early by getting, just use a few gimmicky executes to set SpaceSoldiers off. Give them something to look out for here, because otherwise they're just going to set up that CT wall of defense. You're not getting past that B-bomb site. I'm 95% sure both Zantares and Calyx play on the B site, which is mental.
Yeah, which is a scary concept given the numbers that we just talked about in this last map. These guys are on point right now. They're on form. You basically had no resistance for Zontares, just freedom of movement throughout the entire map. it seemed as almost they couldn't find a number to call there to stop this guy.
Well, I was on the phone for a while there trying to get my burger, and that was pretty bloody difficult. So I can imagine how the French are going to be in some form of a resistance. Nothing history has ever seen before. So that'll be a weird one.
Well, in fact, I mean, the French resistance thing, yeah, I don't think that one checks out, Chad. But you were real close indeed. And, of course, we're not talking about the Anzacs. That's a totally different thing, right?
There's touchy topics that we're getting into now. I was just making a joke because it's like the French resistance is like a thing that people talk about.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we're going into Inferno, and of course, with that, we do have to bring in these guys. You might have noticed them standing here idly by, not really saying a whole lot. That's because we didn't ask them anything. But I'm going to ask you guys now. Are you ready to kick off a little bit of Inferno for the last match of this week?
Yeah, classic G2 map. At least the old roster. It was exciting to watch the double off of Kenny and Shox back when this original roster was infused. But yeah, I'm a little worried for them. I'm not gonna lie. SpaceSoldiers have been looking on fire so far this event, and hopefully that will continue.
Hopefully that will continue, but again, only time will tell, and to tell that story will be you two, of course, jumping into Inferno. I don't know that there's much more else to say about it, Chad.
Not really.
It's pretty clear, cut, and dry.
Yeah, we just need G2 to show us a little bit more. That first game is very flat, but going into map 2, clean slate, where we go, 2 best of 1s. Give us it, boys.
Let's do it right here with G2 Esports, rounding out the last match of the first week of the ESL Pro League Season 8. Take it away, Hugo and Harry.
Yes, indeed, Trace. We are. I mean, I'm so excited to see how Centaurus can keep this performance up. Right? He looked. That was like, if ever you want to go back and kind of look at why some people consider this guy to be so damn good, this could be one of the VODs of it, right? Because that performance from him there. There's times where it looks like this dude is just toggled on, like spinning around, getting these crazy 180s. It's like, fair enough. That's only Centaurus things. We head on through to Inferno though. And, maybe things get a little bit more tricky here. You have Kenny's ability to pick up that AWP, both T and CT side. He's one of the people who I think can definitely use it proficiently over on the T side. And, I mean, you could be looking maybe to set him up over towards Banana on that CT side, free up the other 4 players to hold down the, very standard stuff. But, I mean, I agree with Chad. I like to see some more kind of cheese strats called by existence, some gimmicky stuff.
Yeah, for sure. A little interesting stat from that previous map, which was quite cool, was the opening kills per team. G2 actually had 11 opening kills in that previous map, and SpaceSoldiers had 12 opening kills in that previous map. So that just really shows how many disadvantageous positions SpaceSoldiers were able to claw their way back from, right? Being down in 11 rounds and still just tearing G2 apart by and large. So yeah, cool little stat there, and we're going to be heading into this one, Harry, on Inferno. Last map of the night, our last map of the week here. Obviously, we are going to be back for the next EU week, which will be starting on the 16th, 14th, 13th, one of those. Head over to the ESL website to check, because I've really thrown myself under the bus there.
Yeah, it's okay, Hugo. It happens to
busy,
the best of us. But, as for the rest of us, we're just excited to see G2 versus SpaceSoldiers here on Inferno. G2 going to be kickstarting us over on the CT side, and someone got a very, very fortunate little spawn for mid there. That's going to be no one less than Kenny S. He's going to look to try and capitalize on that all day long. You can't say you blame him. He's fast in towards the apartments, and there's 2 frags coming in from Kenny. Calyx and Paz both dropped at the drop of a hat. It's going to be the bomb as well over here in second mid. G2 walking away with a very, very comfortable man advantage off the bat.
Yeah, totally okay. We're giving back the bomb control to SpaceSoldiers there. The 5-on-3, you are not going to be sweating too much of your G2, and they need every round they can get after that previous map. The pistol would be a great start to pull them back into this one. Like Chad said, new map. You can always reset, forget about the previous one. G2 with a star-studded roster. So definitely the skill to take this game away from SpaceSoldiers, but with Centaurus trying to peek out of the apartments, trying to get himself into that A-bomb site. Smith's not giving him the satisfaction of that kill, hiding in the pit, allowing Kenny to do the damage from long as well. Very passive setup from G2. They can afford to run it because, of course, SpaceSoldiers, they're the ones that have to force kills here, not G2. Kenny is going to move back in for a little bit more with a bait setup on the corner thanks to Shox. So we'll eventually move out of, and look at this pre-rotate, Harry. They are sending 2 players, 3 players. Did they just hear SpaceSoldiers walk up Banana? Because they have rotated completely off A.
Yeah, this is the read of the century here from G2. They've gone out and rotated everyone round, and there should be no way back into this. Kenny already sitting on 2 kills, going to try and extend it that much more. Really taking his time, and okay. Oh, no. Uh-oh. This has all gone very, very wrong. There's only 7 seconds left. They have to get that bomb down. But it is going to be all onto it. There's no time, and Smith just has to deny the bomb plant, but he's let the bomb go down. Oh, no. That could have been it. That could have been the rounds, and Torres was planning on 9 HP, but the bomb plant has come in, and now Smith's 1v1. This has not been the round it should have been, and Zentaris will have to take the peak, trying to get away, and not going to be able to. So Smiths does at least manage to get the defuse, but oh, that does not fill you with confidence. There's some goals in the system right now for this G2 side.
Yeah, a 5-man stack and a 5-on-3 on the bomb site, and it comes down to the 1v1. That, yeah, definitely not as clean as you would like. But Harry, a round is a round, and G2 have done it. They picked up the first. They have now got as many rounds as they had in the first half of the previous map.
I mean, if you really want to look for positive outcomes at the end of that, yes, then I guess. Oh, look at this. There's a nade stack coming in from SpaceSoldiers. It's finally over on the T side, but they throw that all up towards the top of Banana. Body goes untouched, and now Smiths is down here in mid. Him in existence, trying to go ahead and mop up the SpaceSoldiers players. They will be allowed to do exactly that. A 1v2. G2 are big fans of just not letting me be too confident in them here. Paz, 1v2, 22 HP to his name, a Deagle in hand, and there's a buy for SpaceSoldiers in the next round regardless. So this has been a fantastic round once again from SpaceSoldiers.
Well, here it comes, the buy from the T side. G2 still running, well, not bonus round, obviously. They lost 3 players in that previous, but because they lost 3 players, they got to rebuy, and that's why we have a couple of SMGs here. They saved 2 M4s on the last round, but now they're up against AKs and armored AKs as well at that. So these SMGs certainly not going to be the best of guns, especially when Smiths and Shocks could have afforded to buy. But I guess the justification here is if G2 win this, they get a huge upgrade for a low price. Good old discount. Buy an MP9, get an AK free. Although SpaceSoldiers, they're not going to be gifting anything G2's way just yet. They've taken top banana control. We have a player holding the edge of the apartments. That's Calyx, but Smith's up close with an MP9. This is going to be a perfect fight, but Calyx wins it. Smith's sleeping at the wheel. Shox is going to go for the hunt, pushing down apartments, but by this point, Calyx has already backed off. Disappeared, repositioned, and lost that fight somehow. Shox is going to get a ranged kill with an MP9. And now this round gets called into question for SpaceSoldiers. The smoke is blocking them off on top B. But Paz, he has crept into the CT spawn. Just not ready for this angle from Body, I don't think.
He's still allowed to get by it, but he goes walking into CT. Body.
Oh no.
Gonna fall short, and now existence. He's trapped. He's stuck down towards CT. He does manage to find Paz. He's doing a fantastic job of overstaying his welcome and being that thorn in their side. Still, the bomb plant does go down, and now Major, the only man at 100 HP, has to start to win some of these fights, and indeed he does. Now suddenly this is massively in favor of SpaceSoldiers. Will they anticipate that second man coming from Banana? Bombs planted for this position. They just, I was going to say look away, but no, Zentares is battening down the hatches here. Flash rains in, Zentares able to get that trade 1v1 versus Existence, but he's going to do it, and Existence, fantastic stuff from him. He is the hero in this round, make no mistake about it. The defuse is there, and it is all on the back of the man who now looks to lead by example for G2.
Yeah, questionable on that repeat there from Zentares. I'm not sure about that one. He was already low. I understand he went for the jump, but it just seems a bit unnecessary when you haven't heard him on the bomb just yet. And who knows where he's going to be. Trying to get the information will cost him his life, Harry. And now we have the half buy from SpaceSoldiers. Well, not really half buy, actually. Sorry, Calyx saves some money, but everyone else goes for the Mac 10. Solo AK on Zentares. This is still a fearsome buy. Don't get me wrong. If we see an Apps Waterfall, for example, or a Burst, and these weapons could certainly come to use. The only problem is for SpaceSoldiers, the range at which G2 are playing. They've got a double long setup right now. Not for long, though, because we've lost a player on B, so that might cause some shift in rotation here from G2. Actually, the kill on B is somewhat baited SpaceSoldiers back into this bomb site. Antares is still keeping his eyes on it, but the re-smoke down the bottom of Banana is going to delay this for now. In fact, G2 are calling in a big risk by rotating Existence off of that B bomb site. However, it may be the right call to make because SpaceSoldiers, they burst up mid.
Yeah, SpaceSoldiers back to the B bomb set they go, and there's no one there for G2. They're going to be allowed to get this bomb down, and for free, there is a smoke on Calix that gets thrown in now. Now the bomb looks to try and follow up on the back of it. Smith's going to be able to find Major at the very least over towards that A bomb site, but still, bomb plant will come in. Ooh, Existence. They all line up from here. If only he goes for the spray a few seconds earlier, it would have been a very different story. Bomb plant in. Time it now on SpaceSoldiers' side, but the rotation's already thick and fast in from G2. This retake underway. Paz going to manage the first with a Mach 10. Surely gets no more, and Paz, he's smited down a second, maybe even a third. So much damage done, but Shock surviving on 1 HP. Is the man to cement that round for G2. A 4-0 lead here.
These rounds are coming down to the wire, though. Don't get it wrong. Just because G2 are 4-0 up, it's not like SpaceSoldiers haven't had these opportunities. Again, so many defuses on the B bomb site. And that's why we don't have so much money for the side of G2. They do have the AWP, but that's just going to be bought up in this round by Shocks, and everyone else struggling with money for the time being because of this damage that SpaceSoldiers have inflicted onto the G2 economy. We now have full AKs up for the Ts. Kenny already posted down middle, and that's going to allow a push for Shocks as well. This is very aggressive. Major's going to be holding for it, and Kenny not able to get the trade. No one peeking into him just yet. In fact, Smiths will attempt to get aggressive to counteract this man disadvantage, but it will be Body who finds success meanwhile on that B bomb site. Body's not done with that. He's going to keep going.
Still, I mean, just having him here. Trap SpaceSoldiers over towards the top of mid for the time being. It's freed up that extra rotation. You can see that you have man floating down towards. See this double hold as well up here in the apartments. Now, while I do like this, the issue that you sometimes have is the players get stuck on one another as you try to run away. So Kenny has to hit this first shot, and indeed he will. Smiths falls immediately after, though, so that equalizer going to come in instantaneously. Calix caught looking the wrong way. It is now just Engine and Major left up. 2v3, 40 seconds, so they've got plenty of time, but it's Body who's going to cause them so many problems waiting down here towards T-steps.
That's only if they go back down middle, which right now SpaceSoldiers don't look convinced to do. Existence flashed into Long is going to lose his duel with Major. And it is just Kenny. He's got some serious highlight clips in the past from this A-bomb site, but can he do it again, missing the first shot? He's somehow going to make it back to the site. The jump up won't connect, and Major drops him in the open as well. Body now having to come in for the clutch in a 1v2. We've seen some retakes come through before for G2 on this, on the B site, sorry, not on this site. Body going to be sneaking through. SpaceSoldiers both trained on shore. They are so ready for this one. Major's going to get the kill. And SpaceSoldiers, finally, their first round on this T side has been taken on Inferno. And there we go. Look at the money of G2. Already gone. That's the damage that SpaceSoldiers have been doing in these previous rounds.
Pause called on in. It's going to be technical, so a little bit of time to reflect on at least how we ended up here and why the scoreline might not be as great for G2 as it initially looks. I mean, a round is a round. 4-1 is great, but as you say, these have been down to the wire. I think the most we've ever seen G2 keep alive has been 2 players in any of these rifle rounds. So it's always been a real grind. The economy's never been given a chance to build up, and that's why now we see them in a situation where they're having to take an eco or invest at around about $2.4 thousand thereabouts. SpaceSoldiers, this is their shot now to start to chain some of these rounds together. They have G2 on the back foot. This is where we could see a performance similar, at least to that of what we saw on Cash earlier. For those of you who did miss that, you missed one hell of a performance from SpaceSoldiers. It was absolutely incredible, in particular Zantares having the game of his life.
Did he drop 30 in that one by the end? He had 26 the last I saw. No, he had 27 kills in the map. Still ridiculous considering how little the amount of rounds were there. 23 rounds played. Major had a great performance as well, so that's always nice to see the captain of the SpaceSoldiers coming in clutch. Here we go though. Back in. 4-1. The money for G2 is abysmal. We have pistols and a solo FAMAS for body. Armed to the teeth are SpaceSoldiers. Their chance to start to equalize the score, get back into this one a little bit. It was a strong start for G2 in the first few rounds, but I like this idea. Little pop flash for middle from Kenny S. That will set up Existence quite well to go for this kill with Smiths. That's not until we see any SpaceSoldiers players in middle, and for the time being, they are holding on to a rigid default. They own the control towards top banana as Body sits here solo on the top of the box. And G2 quad stacked in mid, just waiting for SpaceSoldiers to make the first move, because once they make some noise, once they show their face here, we're going to see that pop flash go over, we're going to see G2 burst the middle area, and here it is. But at that kind of range, these CZs are not going to be effective, and Major's already scoped in with the AWP. It's a surprise to see it come out so early on this T side, but hey, free AWP is a free AWP, so they're going to go for it. Xantara is even taking down Existence, and Kenny, yes, he's going to try and turn around the situation, but he's still in a 1v4.
Yeah, then SpaceSoldiers going to abandon this, I was going to say abandon the hope of fighting it, but no, Calyx waits around and Calyx gets the job done. Second round secured for SpaceSoldiers. There's still no money for G2, seeing as they did go for the force in that round there. And it's another eco. This is going to be a third round on the horizon for SpaceSoldiers.
Oh, bit of a team knife. Never fun. Existence tagged up. Just a mid-rush for G2. They've got one man in banana. Actually, only two players going for the mid-rush, and you can see why. It's a bit of a wrecking here in mid. Paz finding two. Lots of damage. Everyone low here for G2. And we are just a couple of moments away from round number 8, because this one is done and dusted. I mean, Kenny S is just trying to drag it out. Do what he can down on that B-bomb site, which is probably not too much with 23 HP and a P250. Engine just missing him there, but Kenny about to walk to his potential death, and there it is. So it's a nice round from SpaceSoldiers, nice and clean. Only one death, 3 on this T side, but here's what we've been waiting for, Harry. The meat and potatoes of this half, the buy round for G2, and only a single AWP.
Yeah, Kenny's going to be armorless in order to go ahead and bring that one out, so curious to see how they do decide to use him. He's going to be with it over here towards the A-bomb site right now, wrapping over to the short side. Joined up with Smith. They're trying to assemble a boost on over. Holding close. He lands the... so they flick on down, but it's Smith's actually to be the man to get that trade. AWP dropped almost immediately, though. Kenny cancelled out of this round, and now it is a 4-on-4. What a man to find as well. Kenny being the real... the only glimmer of hope I think we started to see, if you think back to that performance on Cash. He's already been eliminated from this round, and now SpaceSoldiers turning their attention towards this B-bomb site. Only one man here in the form of Body. Smoke's raiding on in, and you can see the rotations coming through. Body just has to buy time.
Since is already here though, with a flashbang poised and ready for Body. That's a nice dink as well. Xantara's put on 14 points of health. He's now going to go Bogdan. Done that AWP for the T side. Re-smoking middle, but actually Calyx, he has a huge opening here that he is currently not aware about. G2 are fully committed towards this B site with only Smith trying to hold on to long. Calyx were to go out of the apartments, he would have A all to himself, but Existence, he's going to get pushing back into that B site. Oh, no flashbang needed. He'll get a 1-for-1, but damage has been done to both Major and Xantares. This is a huge problem. Calyx has to rectify this situation, and he started off well. Smith's going down, and now that rotate as Calyx has completely cleared out the A-bomb site. Shox is going to rotate round himself, but a ballsy play through the flash with 10 seconds left. He's just trying to drop the bomb, and that's not going to happen. That bomb will only just make its way to the site, and Body That's probably why he committed to sticking on B, because they were hoping for Shox to go and drop the bomb and win the round as a result, while Body survives after time. But because that is not a factor, Body has to save.
Yeah, no, now the issue becomes for G2. They're going to be holding this rifle forward. It does give them a little bit more to work with in the next round, but we're just back in that, you know, buy, then lose, then save, rinse, repeat scenario. 4-4, all tied up. And Major, he had a great performance back on Cash along with Zentaras. This time, it's him topping the charts early on for SpaceSoldiers.
This is where the start that G2 had comes a bit into question, with SpaceSoldiers having 4 rounds in a row to bite back upon that 4-0 start. But for now, it is not going to be a bye, Harry. It's just down to pistols once more for G2. One soul saved AK on Body. See, this is where it's like you want to put him on a site alone. You also want him to be surrounded by teammates that can pick up that gun once he goes down. So it's about finding the balance there. Existence will be that solo B player because he has utility. So it can certainly delay for this this B push. There's already been a smoke thrown out by one of his teammates to slow down SpaceSoldiers up on that B bomb site. But he's always got another one in the back pocket. So if they want to take B, it's going to be in another 15-second period, because Existence will be ready to lock this one down. Although if they just creep their way in, he may have a tough time. He's going to go for a bit of a peek. Won't spot too much. Now they're on the angle, so if he goes back in with this one, he's surely going down to that open Major. But there's the smoke. The timing caught off. And that smoke's not too great either. They should realize that Existence has an opportunity here. Throws out his own utility. Look at G2, though. No one's rotating. No one's giving this a go. Only Shox moving over with that Deagle. I think they've realized that if SpaceSoldiers get the bomb down on B, this round is done, and they should probably just hold on to what they have.
I mean, they're more keen on keeping that rifle up on Body, you know, taking the little bit they can with them into the next round. You have a few guys here already. Maybe let them stick around and see if they can find any weapons to walk away with. You know, Smith's being the keen example there, as he does pick up Calyx and now has another AK to join the ranks, although the rest of the squad mercilessly being hunted here by SpaceSoldiers. 5th round, SpaceSoldiers will be grabbing the lead here on Inferno. But if they can get away with some weapons, that's going to be fantastic here for G2. Missed shot there from Major. Shock's doing a good job of keeping these guys nearby. Going to be able to take a few of them down with the bomb, and he will get wrapped onto. But only one man surviving in the form of Major. That's not the most ideal outcome for SpaceSoldiers when you consider how good that round was looking. Still, there's plenty of money, though, in this T-side economy. It is a step in the right direction, though, for G2.
Without doubt, G2 killing 4 players of SpaceSoldiers and saving 2 AKs in an eco round is a pretty profitable one for them. About the little things, Harry, and now we're hoping for a big round for G2 now that they've actually got rifles again. They even have the double scope, Shox on that scout. 4-man B setup to throw in the utility down Banana, and Major trying to set up early by the logs is going to get completely mollied out, and these mollies are not done just yet. They're still going back in. SpaceSoldiers luckily will not be pushing once again. Paz in the meantime has killed that scout of Shox. Now G2, they're going to push down Banana. This is ballsy. Body fully blind, but he still gets a kill against Zantaras as it wears off. 6 HP as he retreats. Definitely going to be thanking his lucky stars for that one.
Inside of the pit, going to be discovered and dealt with by Calyx, but Smith is in position to trade. This A bomb site, though, is ripe for the taking. He look to try and get this bomb down now, although he's just Engine left alive. 1v3 as the bomb plant comes in. Ooh, miss Molly as well. This is perfect through the smoke. Existence going to pick that up. So G2 in with the reply. A 5th round here on their CT side. All tied up, but there's plenty of money for SpaceSoldiers to invest into this next round.
It's been a lot of bomb plants this map so far. We've had numerous retakes here from G2, a couple of saves along the way, but yeah, far more than you would expect to be successful in the retakes. Typically on Inferno, it's one of those maps where when bombs go down, a lot of the time you're just going to see CTs give it up because it's so hard to get back into these sites. Not only that, but, you know, if SpaceSoldiers find 2 quick entries to the B site, for example, G2 are too far away to even give that consideration to going back into the site. By the time they get there, their times tick down, so... Surprising to see G2 have so much success in that sense. Kenny S trading down in middle. Shock's getting the unlucky headshot from Paz again, 2 rounds in a row. He's going down straight away. Calyx, he can charge out balcony and actually do some serious damage on this A bomb site.
Kenny in with the reply, and it's been Kenny and Smiths over here towards this A bomb site that have been doing so much damage time and time again. The bomb, though, does reside here at B, and they read it well. They know where Body is, but he's still going to be able to find it. Zentares falls, and now it's Major left in a 1v3. 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock. Might have been top of the board earlier on for SpaceSoldiers, but this is not an easy feat for any man. For the time being, he's just going to wait over towards Banana, but he's not in search of potassium. He's looking for that man advantage. Well, not man advantage. He's looking for the opener in towards the B bomb site, rather. And that's going to be Body playing on the pillar. Major does find it, but will he be ready for Kenny here in CT? He's tagged down within inches of his life. Kenny hugging the left side. Made out, and Kenny's going to find him with it. So G2 moving on to a 6th round.
Surprisingly equal, considering if we look back to that previous map, especially when SpaceSoldiers were on that T side, just like ridiculous, almost unstoppable. Running into bomb sites, 14-1/2, just getting entry frags left, right, and center. Very, very loose style. Obviously, that is Cash. Very, very different map to this. But yeah, SpaceSoldiers slowed down without a doubt. And G2 have picked up the pace to some extent. However, the pace will be set by SpaceSoldiers in this round. They're already in apartments, Harry. They are deep, deep in. Kenny tries to go back into the position, but Shock's blocked him. That gets him late into the apps and actually causes him to go down to the SMG of Engine. This could allow for that burst balcony on SpaceSoldiers. Shocks is so blind, but they're not going to check his position. Finally, Paz ducks below and gets the kill. Even doubles down to Smiths up on the moto position as well. SpaceSoldiers have made this round a reality, and this is not a retakeable one for G2.
No, not one bit. Body and Existence already looking to try and save. They've backed away. SpaceSoldiers going to be allowed to pick up a 6th round here. Even then, these players getting hunted down, and that's going to be disaster for G2. They'd been able to save up that one rifle. The buy in this round would have been pretty good, but they can still get one. Existence is being hounded down, though, by SpaceSoldiers. They don't want to let G2 hold on to anything. They do not get off of this one lightly. Existence doing a good job of dodging trouble for now, but he's about to have it in abundance. Oh, they line up. Never mind. He's causing a fair share of trouble for SpaceSoldiers now over here towards B. The nade goes out, and it's going to be just not enough. I figured that was going to be all good, but a 6th round on the board for SpaceSoldiers, and now as a result of those players dying towards the end, the idea behind, you know, do you go for the buy here becomes a bit more of a uncertainty for G2.
Major and Paz both sitting on 13 kills, which is always nice. You got Paz back on the board like we had him yesterday against Astralis. And obviously, Major had some good games as well. The only problem is, you always have to throw in that question mark of, okay, if Paz and Major are top fragging, where is Antares and Calyx, right? Because we need them up there as well. Not to say this is a bad half, but we know SpaceSoldiers can do more here. 6-6. Back into that second half, G2 used 2 or 4 of their pauses. So last couple of rounds here, 3 this half. And just shuffling the money over. We even have a Nova in the mix here. Taking that over the FAMAS. Do not blame Shocks. And no op for SpaceSoldiers despite the AWP on Body.
I mean, there's Body opening up. There's a AK now at the top of Banana that can be retrieved. SpaceSoldiers, though, not showing too many signs of sticking around. Looking like they want to try and play fast and loose in towards CT spawn. Kenny lets them get by for the time being. And now, once again, the pressure's on for the boys in B. That might not matter. Smith's down in the pitfalls. Shocks with this Nova. Can he get anything done? Can he get a manage one? Does leave himself up into the short position. That's why he knows that Shocks has his back over towards the apartments. So he's allowed to take up this angle for the encroaching players from the library. Shocks and a Nova. Oh my goodness, that's a pretty...
That is the luckiest
Yeah,
pellet
it's a
shot
pretty
I've ever
nuts
seen.
shot as far as I'm concerned.
97 damage on Engine and 30 on Paz. That is ridiculous off one bullet and then over at that range. The smoke even fails as well. The flash is avoided by his existence. This is a very, very winnable round. That nade may make it a reality. Engine's going to get dunked. The shotgun won't get a kill this time, but Paz is so low at the back of the site alone as well, but he's taking down body. Existence is all that stands, and Major has it locked down from long. SpaceSoldiers, 7 on this T side. That seemed like G2's, especially with how good they've been at retakes in the past.
Yeah, really not the ideal round there for G2, and now there's no money left. Hugo, things go from bad to worse. SpaceSoldiers looking poised to pick up an 8th round here in round number 14 and start to pull ahead of G2 once again. Aggression in towards the apartments this time from the Frenchman. There are players holding back, holding very, very passively to keep an eye on exactly this. One of them going to be Engine. He does spot Shocks while he's been tagged up. Cool comes in to hit B. Body falls. There's only one man left here, and that's going to be Existence. He can't find anything. The bomb goes down. This shroud is that of SpaceSoldiers. And now all that remains to be seen is, can Smithson, can he find any sort of consolation? Right now, it's looking like the answer is no. And that's an 8th round for SpaceSoldiers on this T side. All 5 players surviving. Money's just not an issue now. Last round of the half coming up. And G2 taking a look at the buy. What will they be able to afford?
This is where things really are getting brilliant for SpaceSoldiers. If they have a 9-round T-side half, woof, it's not going to be an easy game for G2 by any means. They've got the last round buy ahead of them here, but no AWP. Not to say that that's been a huge factor here for G2 at all this map. Kenny even gave it to Body in a couple of rounds prior, and that was not to play off of spawn either. He held passive at the top of Banana, so interestingly enough, it might actually be favorable for G2 to run these rifles. It certainly frees up some more space for them to get aggressive, and Shocks has done exactly that in the apartments. Taking down another player, Calix, dropped on the boiler. And Engine's coming out on the balcony, trying to find the right timing. He does exactly that. Just when he needed to peek, he did. And while Shocks is wrapping up from behind in the apartments in the meantime, if Engine were to drop out, that would be massive.
Here's Engine, forward position, and that's Kenny completely caught unaware. No clue that someone could have been so deep in towards that bomb site. Smith's answers back, and actually, he's been, you know, a real bastion of hope for G2 over here towards A. He's dropped the bomb now towards the base of mid. There's still a shot here, all on the back of this play from Smith. There's 40 seconds left on the clock. As an Engine now have to try and retrieve this bomb. It went from being an easy round now to a rescue mission. Smith's going to try and take the fight versus the man in top mid. He's not looking entirely ready, though, for Paz on this flank round. There's so many angles to keep an eye on. He's got his head on a swivel, but Paz missed shot. Smith's given another chance. Doesn't matter because Engine mops him up. 9-6 in favor of SpaceSoldiers here at the end of this first half. Hugo moving into their CT side now. We're going to have to see, you know, can G2 dig deep in this second half on their T side, rather?
They've been doing a good job of getting pistols, at least, right? They are 2 out of 3 pistols gained so far in this series, so there's definitely a chance here for G2 to make that 3 out of 4 as we head into the second half, and there we go, a 9-9 scoreline could be easily appeasable for G2 here. That being said, SpaceSoldiers definitely are firing off here. We've got Paz, we've got Major going off, Engine certainly having his rounds. Not the 2 you would expect, as we said, but hey, it's not like they've dropped off or anything. Everyone's doing their fair share of work here. Now moving over to the CT side, we need exactly that. It can't just be down on one man to open up these bomb sites. It's down on a team effort to lock them down from G2 as we head into the second half.
Yes, 9-6 here in the last map of this week of EU Pro League.
I want to ask you, now that we're here, you know, we've had four broadcast days, we've had a lot of CS. Kind of throwing you under the bus. Okay. What has been your favorite game so far this week? Yeah,
I'll be honest. Maybe that big Astralis game is pretty good. The one that went, the one with the big one. I always forget which one it was, but yeah, I just remember I actually really liked that. I got really hyped, really into it, Hugo.
Yeah, they won
in that series.
Yeah,
I mean, even splitting the series, that was like it was a good series. Well, actually, the first map was kind of hit or miss. I'll be honest, but yeah, like the second map was fantastic. There, that was good. I like an upset win, as long as they're not all upset wins. Then it's kind of terrible, you know.
Well, then they're not upsets.
Yeah.
Either way, second half. Thank you for sticking with us, ladies and gents. It is the last half of the night here for EU, at least on the main stream. We can get a B stream update, Harry, can't we? We'll get that for you in just a second. But
yeah, no, when on this PC, it's actually just crashed as you've put in the request, Mr. Byron. You know, the B stream, Byron has jinxed everything here. You're the master of the B stream. I don't touch that.
Oh, look at those odds. Very, very split down the middle here. B stream update is FaZe AGO right now, and they are 10-1 up for FaZe. Man, FaZe has had a very easy job today. They also 16-5'd them earlier, and FaZe also bullied Wendigo. But we are in a far closer affair, Harry, and it is a fast B play for G2, or at least an attempted fast B, with SpaceSoldiers having 3 players here. But G2, they've changed their mind.
Yeah, indeed they have. They've gone ahead and started to wrap around over here towards Long and looking to try and hit this A bomb site. It's Engine inside of the pit, has passed to try and help him out and hold back the Frenchman. They're charging on air. Pads from pit will be put down. It's going to be Major, Zentares, and Calix knocking on Evan's door here in this retake, but Zentares for the first is going to get dropped by Shocks. Calix and Major still finding frags aplenty, and Major now up in the apartments. Calix does go down. It's a 1v2, and Body and Smith, luckily enough, at the very end, able to hold on to things. That means G2, 3 out of 4 pistols in this 2-map series going their way. But in a way, I mean, I think that you know, that statistic doesn't sound too great in the sense of, you think about the fashion in which they lose cash, and then here, I mean, the scoreline still isn't fantastic for it, considering they win both pistol rounds. Admittedly, still don't have the conversions from this one.
However, these conversions shouldn't be too difficult. Not with SpaceSoldiers on this kind of weaponry. They've only got pistols with no armor. I mean, some of them don't even have that, but Zentares, of course, going to be opening up. Tags down on Existence with 1 bullet. G2 fully grouped for this B play, Harry. Again, they set up like this in the previous round and still ended up on A, so it's not a worry just yet. But if they go barreling into this one, there's a bit of a danger. There's 3 players here. Make that 2.
Yeah, one of those being Calix with this Deeg, the other, that's Major, and he's looked very, very good. They go walking into him, though. Smith's able to pick it up. Calix is there with 1. Pass with a Galil in hand. Engine wrapping around from behind. It's a 3-on-3. This isn't a walk in the park here for G2. Ooh.
What are they doing there?
I'm curious. Yeah, they're definitely trying something. But grouped up, it's Calix and Paz, brothers in arms, trying to make a difference inside of this B bomb site. Right now, they're looking a little bit trapped over in the ruins.
They were trying to stop the bomb plant, waiting for it to go down, but G2 were not baited into planting too early. They were trying to find out exactly where SpaceSoldiers were, so they didn't pounce on them on the coffins. However, that's exactly what's happening now, Harry. This is only an eco after all, and SpaceSoldiers are making it very, very costly for G2. 1v2 here. Shocks can get rid of it. 3 kills for him. And G2, they find their first conversion. And 1 more left. But this should be even easier now with SpaceSoldiers having far less stake in this round. They've gone vegetarian.
One thing that I do love about the way the SpaceSoldiers play these force pies is, you know, you don't see them go for the armor, you know, sticking everything they've got into it. You know, it's like a few pistols here and there, maybe a deagle. And then they always seem to do well with it regardless. They might not be picking up the round, but they've certainly gone ahead and thrown G2's economy into question. You know, you kind of look to the future now, and They're not going to have as big a buffer as they would have liked. And then you look over at SpaceSoldiers' money, and they're going to have enough for all the bells and whistles they possibly need. Here's another example of that potentially, as Smiths gets dropped over here on Banana. They're desperately trying to rotate players in.
I mean, look at that first half. Great example of what you just said. G2 started with a 4-0 lead. SpaceSoldiers win one rifle round on their T side, and then G2 were eco.
Yeah, I mean,
they've done so much damage on those pistol rounds.
Yeah, and you know, to kind of extend, it's like they also just have way more now to take with them into the CT side. They're going to have a lot more utility, going to be able to get everything they could possibly need to hold. Oh my goodness, Calyx, okay. I mean, yeah, look, they've already found 2 in this round. The bomb goes down, but G2, it doesn't look convincing. And this was vanilla pistols for the most part. I think there was one P250 brought up in this round.
Yeah, I mean, even if all 3 players now die, that's successful for SpaceSoldiers. Just forcing G2's rebuys more than anything. Less effective now that G2 on the T side, because of course G2 are going to have a cheaper job of buying guns. It's far easier. And utility. Oh, good flashbang though. Well, not a good flashbang. It was actually a team flash, but it could have won SpaceSoldiers the round. Unfortunately, it will do the exact opposite. Shox is going down, and Paz has made this a 1v1. The round is done. Existence has won it, but all Paz has to do is stay alive for long enough. Now the bomb's going to kill Existence if he was low, but he's actually got some health. So a late peek from Paz will not get what he was hoping for. That being said, Harry, 4 kills from SpaceSoldiers in that round with USPs.
It is just madness. And I mean, I don't even know what to say now, because you take a look over at G2, and surprisingly, they actually have a decent bit of cash left, all things considered. Buy up here, sees Paz donning that AWP. Taking it. Over here towards this A-bomb site. Major spotted. Engine gonna find a quick double. Now Paz with the AWP. Getting pressured. Players pushing down through Banana, but Smith lies and waits, and there's the first kill. Maybe even a second, and indeed, he's gonna find both Xantares and Calyx, 2 of the hard hitters here for SpaceSoldiers, and Paz at this point gonna consider saving. Kenny is a bit obsessed with getting this AWP out of his hand if he can for free.
Yeah, Paz not aware that he's being flanked, but will spot Kenny. Getting kills on the exits. G2 first to reach double digits, Harry, and again, after a 9-6 lead for SpaceSoldiers on the half, that is certainly not what you would have expected to be. So, I was about to say easily done by G2, but was far from easy with the amount of kills SpaceSoldiers had on their pistols. However, this time in the second half, they won't be able to capitalize off the back of that early damage. Again, though, 3 kills here. Paz can maybe find 1 more, although, yeah, he's done it. And again, these all have their effects, right? Next round is SpaceSoldiers, well, they're going to have to eco, but after that, if they win a rifle round, G2 are going to be hard stuck for money. Because right now, yeah, $6,000 a player, but wait for the rebuys. They have to buy everything. You know, what's that? Like 4,700 for everything. AK, armor, full set of nades. And again, we know how much damage SpaceSoldiers can do with these kind of rounds, Harry.
Yeah, Paz is given a second chance to try and show us what he can do with this AWP. Didn't get to see him do anything with it in that previous round. Mac 10's across the board for G2 almost, with the 2 rifles up on Existence and Kenny. Engine holding close here. Doesn't have any armor, so this Mac 10 should just shred through him. Corner, the CZ nets that first frag. Engine allowed to go and slip back down into pit. They're desperately trying to hunt him, and Kenny will be there to pick up the frag, but Paz answering back. Existence in through long. Good for 1 before major trades, but it's down to the wire. It's Smiths and Shox left up, and the AWP and the AK is starting to be retrieved, or M4s rather, for SpaceSoldiers. They're grabbing guns. They're arming themselves here. They're revolting against the G2 forces as this bomb goes down. Xantares up in the apartments, and he's looking right at home.
Oh, that's awkward though. Major tries to go for the peak with the AWP, and Smith is still up close as well. That's a free kill. These unarmored players are not going to be able to hold on to this round today, but still another round where SpaceSoldiers put up a tremendous amount of damage to the economy of G2. Smiths will get away with 3 points of health. Very, very lucky there. But 11-9 here for G2. They're starting to run away with this game, Harry, in the second half. We have yet to see SpaceSoldiers get a CT round. And so all of this narrative of damage and close rounds is relevant if they can't capitalize. And this has to be it, Harry. This has to be the round, or G2 are going to start crushing SpaceSoldiers in this second half. We've got the PI, we've got the AWP. Paz taking that, one of the top performers right now in the server. And G2, great nades to start things off.
Yeah, Calyx just annihilated. Doesn't even get to see the opposition now. Zentares flashing himself around. He's managed the double. Going to be allowed to get the reload off as well before anyone from G2's in position to trade. There are players within CT. Oh. Zentares smoked down. Smith's finally able to get the trade, but still it's too little too late as Zentares has laid waste to all of G2 body. And Smith's left up doing all they can. And I tell you what, they might have just carved a path back into this round between them. There's now Paz left in the 1v2 with an AWP. Has the bomb trapped inside of this B bomb set, and body is a long way away, but Smith's just waiting for his friend to make his way up through Banana and regroup here inside of B.
Even have a smoke for the spawn as well, making sure that Paz can't find a kill here unless he gets ridiculously lucky, but has to give away his position there. Or tries to at least get a shot through the smoke. Going to give this a go because, again, too many rounds have gone the way of G2. Can't afford to keep saving and keep giving them opportunities to run away with this game. The economy is starting to look good as well, so Paz doing his best to break it while he can, but he doesn't know both players are already Banana, and that's a near undoable clutch as well. No kit, nothing. Going to smoke it off and have to go and save. G2, 12 rounds to 9 here, Harry. They have got 6 in a row, and SpaceSoldiers have yet to grace the CT side. And look at the top fragger for G2 as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Smith's topping the board right now for G2. Not the name we're too used to seeing there, but he does do it every now and again. And they should be very, very thankful that he is. Over on that CT side, it was Smith's ability to hold that A bomb site time and time again and really kind of trade effectively off of Kenny in particular. I think that netted them so many rounds. So here on the T side, he's been phenomenal as well. It was him in that previous who traded out with the players inside of that B bomb site and made the round possible. This time, though, Paz opening up, finds the early man advantage for SpaceSoldiers. No response just yet from G2. Smith's existence and Kenny up here towards the top of Banana, looking to try and come in with a late equalizer, but that nade does a lot of damage onto the man in question, Smith's.
Smoke down on B, keeping G2 at bay now on this side of the map. There are 3 players here for the Frenchman, so somewhat committed towards this B-bomb site. Nade to the boiler. That'll just keep SpaceSoldiers aware of the possibility this isn't, well, you know, definitely a B play. Despite that, SpaceSoldiers have still triple stacked this bomb site, leaving A very susceptible to being attacked, and we've got Shocks trying to sell the fake here. Will this force a rotation, though? That's the question. If Paz can get a kill here, this is going to make things very, very good. He gets the leg. That might be enough here, because he's still got 2 more teammates on the bomb site to help him out. There's the shot from Paz. Already 2 picks from the man himself with that AWP. The top performer for SpaceSoldiers right now. Begin to molly out, throws out of this corner, but a double peek with his teammate Calyx. The synergy from SpaceSoldiers is shutting down the T side. And 10 rounds taken now. They finally get their first on this half.
Yeah, that is their first CT side round, though. Convincing as it was. 5 players staying alive is going to be fantastic here for SpaceSoldiers. Tactical pause called on in for G2. I think justifiably so. Might only be 1 round that they've given away on their T side, but they're not happy about that. They want to try and maintain this lead, and I think it's important as well not to let SpaceSoldiers start to get some of that confidence behind them. You know, they know they can't afford to throw away a couple of rounds, because we've seen if you let SpaceSoldiers feel confident, you let them kind of set the pace and play their own game, that they are a terrifying team to run into.
But again, G2 could completely shut this down before it even begins, Harry, if they find this reset. Yes, SpaceSoldiers kept a lot of players alive, which will certainly mean that they can continue buying up, but with G2 being so close to a victory here, only 4 rounds away, 13th would not be a bad idea right now. We've gone back to a 4-man A setup for SpaceSoldiers. No more triple B nuisance. Lots of utility going down banana early on. We have a double setup in apartments. We saw the same thing from G2. Not the most successful. Traded 1-for-1 earlier. But maybe we won't even find out what's going to happen here on that A side of the map, because look at this, G2 ready and set for the early execute on B. Now, if Calyx doesn't get 2 kills here, this round is done. This round is over. SpaceSoldiers, I don't think they're close enough to even give this one consideration. They're so deep on that A bomb site in apartments and pit that G2 are going to get the bomb down before SpaceSoldiers are even close.
Yeah, that's a pretty gut-wrenching call to have to make if you're SpaceSoldiers. Off the bat, they really had to save that. You're bang on. And it's made even worse. You see them start to rotate around. Maybe they think, you know, we can take a look in at least if Calyx is still there. But the second he gets discovered and dispatched of by body, that whole round is very much over. A 13th very, very quickly taken back by G2. But 4 players managing to stay alive here for SpaceSoldiers potentially means that they can easily muster up a bye in this coming round. So they're going to have another shot. A shot of redemption here. In round at number 24 coming up next.
Flawless for G2 as well. The narrative of SpaceSoldiers doing damage to the economy is flying out the window as we speak, as is the chance of them winning this game, because G2, 3 away from victory here. Round number 24. Solo AWP for Major. Paz is no longer going to be donning that AWP. Not typically the AWPer for the team, of course, but maybe just feeling confident after him having a strong game so far. Major, he's up on B with that AWP. And it definitely makes sense considering G2's success down on this site. Major does avoid some of the nades, but still is tagged to 40, finding the pick for Smiths. Oh, there's almost a trade in response. Calyx is down to 50. Major's flashed off the angle as well. G2 probably not too happy about that one. They got a lot of damage, but they lost a man in the process, and Kenny, yes, got out a little bit scratched as well. Maybe the A site is more G2 style today.
Well, there's 3 players here, so it's not going to be the easiest of feats for GT to go ahead and pick this one up. Towards apartments they go, and Engine down in the pits, and Tara's over here towards short. Paz holding back towards the arch side. Oh, that's a big nade. It tags that existence, finishes off Kenny as well. So much damage done on the back of that $1,300 investment. Now Engine gets caught out in the open by Shocks, trying desperately to force that fight onto the man trapped in pit. Another fantastic nade. They're going to go rolling on in, and Paz and Zantara is between them. They've gone ahead and found 2 quick kills. So existence down in the pit, 24 points of health, and time ticking against him. Does manage that first kill, but there's a man up in graveyard that looks to shut this whole thing down, and that's Calyx. 11 to 13. It's going to go even closer here on Inferno. G2 with money to buy. Money to burn, for that matter, are going to be investing into this round.
And no interest in the AWP, funnily enough. Despite them being up against one that's now back on Paz as well instead of Major this time. Maybe suggesting a bit of a faster pace here from G2. They do set up mid early. Kenny, quick kill to Paz. That's the AWP gone now for SpaceSoldiers. This will be a stunning round for G2 to bounce back and reset here at 13-11. Oh, Smiths. Things are getting hot in the banana. And it's melting as Engine looks to melt the attack of G2 pushing up through middle. Major smoked off, but he will get one right before that blooms. G2 still a man down, but they are in the B site. Smiths has snuck right past Antares, and that is ridiculous. Kenny's got the bomb on A as well. This is a mess of a round for G2, but it's certainly something that they could win. Smiths has realized as Antares has run back down banana, but he's so deep in middle now that Smiths is too far away to do anything. And I think SpaceSoldiers have no idea what's going on. They don't seem to know that B is open and Kenny is in the apartments. I don't blame them. This is just a complete cluster of a round.
Major still might catch the perfect timing here and find Smith. 45 seconds. He's going to fall down and out in the open, and now it is just Kenny. Doesn't have a smoke. Instead, throw that nade to try and get across. 35 seconds. He's sticking the plant and peeking on into it. Just going to be major. That's the easiest kill of his career. 12 to 13 as Kenny tries to stick that bomb. And now the money has run out for G2. They could invest a little bit more on shocks, perhaps in this round. They could try and. I just think at this point you don't push the bow out. You don't try anything unconventional. You just go with. Take the eco, have everything you need into the next round, everything you could possibly want. All your wildest dreams.
You're in the lead. There's no reason to force it. It's fine giving SpaceSoldiers a 13th. G2 have still had the better half after all. Let's remember, SpaceSoldiers only winning 3 this entire half. G2, very different case. 7 to their name on the T side. That's a very strong start. So the last pause used here from G2 to try and work out exactly how this money game will go. Last game of the night here for Pro League EU. And G2, oh Harry, the Frenchmen are here. They've gone for the force. Thoughts?
Well, you know, they certainly, I mean, I don't entirely think it's the right call, but you can understand why maybe they would. They know that they've got the SpaceSoldiers economy down low, right? They've gone for the buy here. Even if they lose this, they're going to have to eco to the next, and then they can go ahead and grab themselves an investment at, what, 14-13 in favor of SpaceSoldiers. So it's high risk, high reward. If GT pick this round up, then they're going to be resetting that SpaceSoldiers economy, leaving them in the awkward spot at a 14-12 scoreline, and then you're going to be faced with that decision. Do you go for the force? Do you just take the eco and try and play for the overtime? So you understand why. They think that they can get it done with the 1 AK, that catalyst rifle up on shocks. CZs for the rest of the gang. We're over here toward Banana, and they've been allowed a decent bit of control here early on, almost entirely for free. Now they're throwing smokes, flashes. They're going to go ahead and smoke off coffins. Smoke for CT as well, the standard B site take, but they don't follow it up with anything just yet. It's radio silence over here on Banana.
But still Paz is sticking by, and while they'll be going for this attack again, Paz won't be able to get much done as the smokes will conceal that CT position. Molotov's not doing too much. Antares actually stays alive behind the back of the site. 60 HP, he can move back in because they are pushing very delayed after that Molotov went off. Both of them getting kills here on this B defense. Paz not needed just yet. We need this AK of shocks to get something done here and now. It's Body to find the first kill for G2, but traded swiftly back from Paz, who now has control of the bomb. And with 20 seconds left, this could all fall apart for G2. Paz has landed another shot. Shocks trades, but he's stuck in a clutch.
He is, but there's a smoke down in CT. He's going to be afforded this bomb plant at the very least. A 1v2 for Shocks in. He spots out one of these players, knows their whereabouts. Here's the footsteps of the man on Banana as well. Tries to peek into it, but Engine, a major double peeking. Find the trade, play that perfectly. And it's going to be a 13th round here, all tied up for SpaceSoldiers. The bomb going down, maybe a bit of a silver lining here for G2. Orb carried forward for SpaceSoldiers, and now this means they're not out of the woods just yet either. Only one man surviving. It's going to be a similar situation to this round, whereby neither team too great in terms of their economy. Now becomes a numbers game to decide who closes out this last map, and you can see G2 going to be partial buying down to about $2,000. They have a couple of CZs, a little bit of armor to play around with in this round. Nothing too over the top.
Next round will be the $2,900 loss bonus kicking in, so G2 are going to have plenty of money despite this investment here.
This is still an important round, though, for G2. If they can find some damage, they can take away a few guns, and they set themselves up nicely to still be able to close out this map in their favor. They're going to go barreling the way of Paz. A missed shot here and there, though, and they found him deep within CT. They continue this journey, this pilgrimage that Calix looks to try and shut down, but there's players all around, and he's going to manage himself another 3-on-3. They grind to a hole, and already they've found more than enough frags to start to make this very, very expensive for SpaceSoldiers. Maybe it amounts to a little more than that, although Calix is looking to try and prove otherwise.
Yeah, problem is Body's still stuck here in the CT spawn. While he does have an AWP, he's 7 points of health. Oh, Calix, does he peek it? Did he even see it? Yes. Going to get the kill and drop the bomb. Now SpaceSoldiers in control of this round, and even though Shocks has grabbed a gun, he's got a big task, almost insurmountable. The only positive is, Harry, the B site's open for the taking. He gets dinked on the way out, but does grab a smoke. And that's going to allow him to get the plant in and choose an appropriate post plant. The only question is, how quick is Engine up into this position, and does Shox expect it?
No, he almost certainly does not. So he's going to go down. Then they want to go and retrieve that AWP from CT. That's the aim of the game now. Oh, where's it gone? There we go. But 14th round for SpaceSoldiers still. For G2, that is a very good round regardless. They get the bomb down. That's extra money. They're going to be building up a little bit of economy here so they can grab whatever they want. And they can almost leave themselves, really, if they wanted to, in a situation where they have enough money to ensure their buy even in the next round. Thanks to that loss bonus building up as well. And then, you know, the double-edged sword of that is that over on the side of SpaceSoldiers, only 2 players surviving. G2 doing a boatload of damage. Means that if G2 win this round at 14-14, SpaceSoldiers is going to be onto an eco. So they've poised themselves potentially to still close out this last map tonight. They have the money for the buy in the next round as well. G2, they're by no means out of this just yet.
Bit of a trade of damage up in the apartments. Paz going to fall back down and go towards the boiler with his AWP. Not for long. Ooh. A bit spooked there by Engine. Major even doing damage with his utility. Astralis tier nades coming out from SpaceSoldiers. Look at this. Even another Molotov to trap body. He's going to have to run right through the bulk of it. Second one is perfect as well. Look at the damage that SpaceSoldiers are doing with this utility. Kenny is down to 11 points of health, and he is going to get dropped with the bomb. Calyx follows up with another frag, and this was a round that G2 needed. Their money is going, Harry. And even though they got loss bonus and they will be able to buy up next round, this was their opportunity. Slipping through their fingers. Oh, Smith gives it a go. Major's pushed into this smoke. Look at the balls on this man. Oh, they're going to hear the tag. They should know he's in the smoke right now, and Shox is going to find the frag. G2 desperately running back towards a B-bomb site.
And they know Major didn't need to give that up. Paz going to fall as well. Now Zentares here at Banana peeks on out. Shox has found him, and somehow G2 might get back into this game after all. Calyx trying to make a stand. He does manage to find it. 20 seconds left, time ticking down, and Calyx tucking away for the time being. Smith's trying to get this plant body wrapping round through CT. Bails out Smith's in this situation. It's Engine. 1 versus 2. A little Engine that couldn't. Time ticking down. It's a big round for either one of these two teams, but SpaceSoldiers, they lose this and they've got no money into the next. They had a 5-on-3 and it gets stripped away from them as G2 pick up a 14th here. We're all tied up and the money for SpaceSoldiers is gone. They've gone for the force buy into this round. And that now means if they lose this, G2 could very easily start to walk away with this game, as there'll be no money into round number 30 for SpaceSoldiers.
That's a heartbreaking round for SpaceSoldiers. The over-aggression from Major down in middle, despite having a 4v3 with G2 tagged up. And then confusion on those rotations allows G2 to get into the B site, even with that flank coming through the CT spawn from body as well. Dear oh dear. SpaceSoldiers will be kicking themselves, but there is still hope, Harry. There's still a chance. Resting on the shoulders of this AWP with 3 pistols and an MP7. A ragtag buy, but what can they get done with it? Shox is going to check the corner. That's a yes. Big first kill. Engine going to move in as well to try and trade things out, but Body's coming in to try and support his teammate as well. G2 have the lockdown in the apartments. And now, with the 5-on-3, they can slow down the pace.
Shox offering himself up to Major could give SpaceSoldiers a means of getting back into this game. G2 rotate over here toward B, but the issue is there's 2 players here right now. Well, one inside of the bomb site, the second deep within CT, but he's rotating around. You can see the position that Major's grabbed here at the side of Arch. He's going to be very, very fast on that rotation. And all we need is Major and Zentares to buy some time. Zentares even allowed to cross into the bomb site, so now they can look to batten down the hatches as this push comes on in.
Oh no.
Zentares catches that flashbang in his mouth, and that could have decided the fate of this game, as they both fall. Just Major 1v3, and he's going to go ahead and opt to hold on to this AWP. He backs away. Match point here for G2.
Yeah, money isn't the problem here, so... Well, not for G2 sides. It's SpaceSoldiers need everything they can get, and this AWP being one of those things. Zentares having a very quiet game in comparison to his usual performance, especially that previous map, but at least everyone else is stepping up. The problem is, Harry, probably not enough. 15-14 to the Frenchman, crushing SpaceSoldiers both literally and economically into this final round of regulation. SpaceSoldiers need a miracle to pull overtime. They do have the orb, but that is the only light at the end of the tunnel here. $2,000 a player as a $1,900 loss bonus kicks in. And look at this mistake in the corner from Xantares and his teammate. They get caught completely off guard, not expecting the pace of G2's push.
I mean, now for SpaceSoldiers, this buy they've got is pretty dismal. Major on the AWP. The rest of the guys force board down what they can. G2 poised to close this map out and split the series 1-1, which after the ferocity and you know, like the confidence of SpaceSoldiers on Cash, I figured, you know, this would have been a bit of an open shut case. G2 doing a fantastic job of remaining resilient here and grinding out a potential win on Inferno.
Oh no.
Gonna boost the distance up. Major missing that flick. He's gone down. That's the AWP drop. That was the one kind of silver lining that maybe SpaceSoldiers had in this round. Players already out in that B bomb site. They got to start calling that it's clear as they clear out all these angles. That bomb can pull on round, and this is looking like it should be the round of G2. Shox finds Antares there. Just Calyx, Paz, and Engine left up. The bomb's heading over here toward B, and while Calyx is nearby, it's going to have to be an absolutely unreal performance from him if he wants to carry this one through to overtime.
Oh, he's not going to get it done. Damage to Smiths is not enough, and oh, how the mighty have fallen. SpaceSoldiers are going to be losing this game unless Paz can pull up something heroic. A 1v5 up against a fully equipped G2 squad. Harry, I'm somewhat doubting this possibility.
Yeah, I think even Paz is as well. You know, I think this is going to be one for the record books if he's able to get it done, and indeed he's not. G2 will be closing out the last map this week of Pro League. They split the series 1-1 with SpaceSoldiers as well, and they show that they do have what it takes. They remain resilient here on Inferno. They grind themselves out that win.
All the rounds here, Harry, here on Pro League to finish off the night, and yeah, that will be it for G2. An impressive win, finally getting one on the board. But that is us done with the week, Harry.
Yes, indeed. We're going to go ahead and bring in the other two wonderful gents on this desk with us. How did you guys find that game?
I found it to be exhilarating, to say the least. Also finding it very, very intriguing to watch Smiths put on the performance he did there. I think he had a great game.
Yeah, he did have impact, or at least a lot of impact with opening kills and being able to get some frags in transition. But I think, you know, the real storyline here is that this was actually a really good game of Counter-Strike. When teams were finding the opening kills, they were actually converting and playing those power play situations correctly. I saw a couple of cool things come out. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but one of those later rounds in that piece on the CT side from SpaceSoldiers, they allowed G2 to take the mid wall, and then they did that Molotov that bounced off over the roof skybox, and another one came in to blanket off that area. I want to see more teams coming out with innovation like that. Instead of just trying to use the choke point, allow them in, set up a bit of a bear trap, and then go for the kill trace. And some cool stuff. So, good game overall.
Chad, I have a choke point for you right now, and that's going to be the North American matches coming up. Let's take a look at the schedule. And in fact, that's right. You see the Envious logo
Hold
there.
up a second.
And that is the real deal, Chad.
How did they get in on here? I don't even know how this one happened, but that's
Just
the new roster. Nifty.
It's the ex-Splice guys. It's the three-man core
okay.
of like Davey.
Kind of happens that way. Either way, yes, a little Envious and Liquid to kick us off, followed by a little Cloud9 and Rogue to end out the day over there on the North American stream, which will be coming up. After this, of course, we do have just a few thoughts here, so make sure you don't close your browser. Don't do anything weird. Don't do something strange for a little piece of change, because the only change you're going to need is from the EU to the NA broadcast. Anyway, Chad, rounding out the thoughts on that last matchup, what do you have?
I just think, you know, it's a much-needed win for G2 here. It's going to be a tumultuous time for them. So to pick up a victory over SpaceSoldiers, who we did see push Australis all the way to the limit last night, it's good signs. It's been a good opening week, a good first 4 days that we've had. I feel that things have been relatively smooth. No one has really let us down. Maybe if we reflect on the whole week, Ninjas in Pajamas would be upset with their performance. But all in all, pretty happy.
Why don't we talk a little bit about some of those results, perhaps even some of today's results? I think that'll be a good talking point to kick us off.
Sure.
At least from our side of things, we could talk about some of the play that we saw, or we could talk about the B stream. Talk about the B stream, Chad.
I think it looks like the main thing here for me is that FaZe have stabilized. 2 quick wins there, actually 4 quick wins, not even conceding double digits at all against Wendigo and Ago. 2 of the teams who we do think will be down the bottom of the barrel. And obviously to kick things off, G2 started very nicely with 2 games over Heroic on that secondary stream.
Yep, and some of the players coming alive, at least on the main side of things, would have been Device and Mertz having solid showings there, at least from their respected sides. And then, you know, if we go forward from here, we could talk a little bit about standings, I believe, would be the way that this goes. And, you know, now that we have an entire week underneath our belts, Chad, how are you feeling about some of these teams as we move forward?
Well, look, this is still the early stages. We haven't even seen a team like Na'Vi play yet, right? So they're still going to have, we're 4 days into what is it, 15 days? We have 11 days of play left. So after the next week, which will be 6 days, that one will be going down on the 16th. We're going to get a better indication. But right now, I think you have to be pretty happy if you're a North fan.
Yeah, if you're a North fan, you're sitting pretty, sitting large and living the high life. Of course, Mouse Sports Astralis falling in there 2nd and 3rd. Of course, these are not final standings by any stretch of the imagination. We are just getting started here with Season 8 of the ESL Pro League. And yeah, I mean, it is a situation where Na'Vi hasn't played. We have seen some rather not upsetting, but maybe weird results across the board.
It's probably been par for the course, really. Obviously, FaZe not having a fantastic first showing, but now they've turned it around with wins that they must get. Obviously, Big were able to take a map off Astralis, so there has been little, I guess, hiccups or speed bumps for certain squads, but nothing to worry about. Like I mentioned, the only team who maybe will be upset with the way things went is Ninjas in Pajamas, having played 6 games, and they've only been able to pick up 1 victory. It is a long road to Odense, Trace, but maybe the technology in that city will help us when we get there.
I think you are exactly right, Chad. And honestly, I can't think of anywhere else that you want to be going at the end of this season, more or less us, to say the least. The road to Odense. Odense. I've been getting it right every time.
It's all good, man. Just keep trying.
You're right. Odense. That's where we're going at the end of the season. That's where the finals, that's where it all culminates to here at the end of Season 8 of the ESL Pro League. We're going back to Denmark, just down the road. Actually, a good 2-3 hour car ride from here.
It's going to be fun. I had fun last year. Had good tapas.
Good tapas, and actually pretty good little places. A lot of memories from last year.
Yeah,
Not
Irish
all
pub.
that are appropriate for the broadcast. And of course, you can always stream, game, and record without compromise using your Intel Core processor. It's a beautiful thing. Make sure you grab yourself one. I think that just about does it for us here. That is the end of week 1 of ESL Pro League. And of course, it has been my pleasure alongside of these guys to tell you the story of week 1, and that is now in the book. So we're going to be coming back, not next week, but the week after that. Make sure you're here with us in the Intel Esports Arena. Signing off one last time this week. It's me saying goodnight.